just for a minute, and I'm going to let this award-winning fiddle player, he has won awards in Alabama and all over, play a song called Lost Indian. Take it away, guys.
Thank you. Yeah.
Lost time. It didn't sound very lost to me.
No, you had it all together as far as I'm concerned. I thank you very much. Well, thank you all, not just Jim. I think you've helped Monday Night Live start off the season of good cheer with some good cheer.
A little toe tapping.
A little toe tapping there. And that Lost Indian, or that Get It Together Indian, is on Jim Bradford's Jubilee, Alabama Jubilee record.
Yeah, Red has out with his Jim's brother Don called Christmas Pudding, all of the favorite Christmas songs, Don instruments. And we have one out with his late father called Classic Country, too. Now, that one you can get on Amazon.com and Target and CD Baby. And so
well, people will go out looking for it. I've got a question for you, Bob. You're giving all the time. When you are really giving, you go out to work with any group, whether it's a club in the old days or it's a hospital or something today. You're out there giving. You're spreading the word, you're spreading good cheer. Does it drain you sometimes? How do you recharge your batteries? I mean, there's traveling involved and organizing and performing.
I don't know, I've always been an intuitive person and able to know my own limitations and boundaries, and even from the time I was little, and I've always been blessed with the knowing when the time is to go and rest, take a couple days off. The way I really recharge my batteries is, you think not getting away from the music, but listening to other people's CDs. And I was sharing with you, I had a greenhouse built on one of my houses recently, and so I go out there and I monkey around with the banana plants and the citrus trees, and kind of lose myself in horticulture, which is, for me, something I found I can do and really be able to turn my brain off and not be thinking about, oh, I better go do this thing for the ministry, or I better contact this radio person or practice this song or that. It enables me to lose myself in it. And I think it's important for people, no matter what they're given, ministry, profession, career, job, is to have other interests. And that, to me, working with seniors, as I have for so many years, I found is what makes the difference between a healthy older person and maybe not so healthy older person, or same with the younger person, is to have a variety of interests. Because when one thing keeps working, as we get older, things don't always work the way that they do when we're young. So if you can't sing anymore, if you can work with plants, or if you sing anything that drives a passionate feeling and feeling of fulfillment, it's very important. And helping older people I know in ways to have a really variety of interests and things that they love.
And you paint as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's another way of letting things out.
Sure is.
Okay, I'm going to read something that might embarrass you now. If you can have a... well, Mother Teresa. You got the Mother Teresa Award, I know. And I think 1994 you started a correspondence with her. Mother Teresa said, "Your work of love in nursing homes, hospitals, and for the aged, the neglected and the forgotten, is truly the work of peace. For the fruit of love is service, and the fruit of service is peace." I mean, she goes on at some length. She was putting it on the line, and you stayed in communication with her for quite some time, didn't you?
In fact, it was really farther back than 1994. When I started the Renaissance Ministry in the late 80s is when I started writing to Mother Teresa, because that beautiful documentary by Richard Attenborough came out back then, and right after she'd won the Nobel Peace Prize, and I was just so knocked off my chair by her and by her work and by her commitment to true values and true love in the name of God, that I was naive enough to sit down and write a letter. You know, I don't know, I guess maybe not naive, that's not the right word, maybe just moved enough to write the letter without expecting any kind of a response. And my goodness, about 3-4 weeks later, I got a personal response back from Mother Teresa, which just started the ball rolling, and I started sending her pictures of our seniors, and she would write "God bless you, love Mother Teresa" on them and send them back to me, and I'd run right out to Kmart and buy a frame, and and then she'd write letters, and at that point in '94 she wrote that very, very personal letter about our work, and it is on the back, those words are on the back of one of my gospel CDs, Coming Home Again. So Mother Teresa was probably my greatest influence as far as my work with seniors and mixing the ministry with the music. Of course, I have a legion of musical heroes that are in a whole different wing of things.
Well, tell us one or two about those.
Well, Judy Collins, Peter, Paul, and Mary, Joan Baez, people that were able to show us that you could be entertaining with music and still put forth a very powerful social message about love and caring for one another. You know, that it didn't have to be preachy sounding. It could be a fun song, but have a very powerful message. And of course, the old-time country, you know, with Green Valley Boys and Remwall and Ernest Tubb and Hank Williams and all those people, you know. Sadly now, so much of the music is what I call homogenized. It all sounds the same. And back in the old days, you could tell Johnny Cash from Remwall, from Roy Acuff, and they were all different, and they were able to be a little more artistic than nowadays, sadly.
Here's a question off the wall. You don't have to answer it if you think it's going to perjure you. What about rap? Have you tried rap?
I did, absolutely not. I mean, if people saw me trying to do rap music, they'd laugh and fall off their chair. No.
I mean, that's supposed to be getting a message across, but I'm not so sure that it does.
You know, I really can't speak out of school because I really have not listened to enough rap, to be honest with you. I'm so stuck in the country and the folk and the contemporary Christian and gospel vein that I have heard some very good rap that does have a very powerful message, but I really haven't listened enough to it to really, you know, do a distinct commentary.
But you see, I think you need to repeat a message. If it's really going to sink in here, you need to maybe sing the words. And some of these good old numbers,
what was it?
People know the words. People can sing them, and I think it reinforces the message.
Pete Seeger said years and years ago that he felt like he had to write some of his songs out on toilet paper because that was the only way some people could absorb the message.
Okay, okay. This is still a family show.
That's right.
We don't need to worry about that.
Apologies.
No apology needed.
I didn't say it. Pete Seeger did.
That's right, and this is Public Media Network. Let's put a plug in for Public Media Network, what we used to call Access. Now, these big transmitters are owned by multi-million-dollar corporations. Anybody with a few bucks can buy a radio or a television set. And here in the studio, regular folk can come along, learn to use the equipment, and get their message out. This is a way